Hi, Cynthia Johnson here. This week's blog covers the technological revolution and its impacts on teaching as well as assessments. Behrens and DeCerbo, in their analysis of technology and its impact on culture, have described it as being ubiquitous and unobtrusive, meaning that it's everywhere and we don't really notice it a whole lot. The presence of technological uses has altered our culture in very profound ways. Even 10 years ago, I don't think many of us would have thought in terms of the need for a law to encourage a driver not to text while driving. That sort of thing just didn't happen. But talking about texting, the intent behind a text is to send a quick message and then you expect a quick message in return. Students bring their phones into the classroom, think nothing of holding texting conversations with someone who's not in the classroom or someone who's across the room for that matter. But that immediacy of response, the ability to respond immediately, and then the expectation that the answer will come in just moments as well, has really altered the students' expectations of what should happen in a classroom. They also want it to be relevant. Students want relevance in what they learn. That it's not enough for them to hear, well, if you just wait, you'll understand why this is important. They really want to know, because in their social media usage, they'll sign up for a channel, but if it doesn't interest them, buddy, that channel's out of here, and they don't even think twice about it, and they rarely give it another chance. So we as teachers really need to address our teaching methodologies and focus more on not just being student-centered, but finding out what those students at the center of our student-centered teaching actually need and what they want, and try to accommodate those two issues. So part of these issues as well reflect. Let me find in my notes here. Excuse me. This technological power that we have today comes because of the power of Web 2.0. It's responsive, it's reflective, it's extensible, and we teachers need to be taking advantage of that, because that can greatly impact the effectiveness of our assessments, whatever those assessments may be. Whether we want to insert a real quick multiple choice question in the middle of a concept or between concepts, asking, hey, did you understand what we just talked about? Or based on the previous reading, what do you think is the correct answer? And then as the student clicks on one or another of the answers, the response can pop up, hey, that's right, way to go, you were really looking, weren't you? Or it could say, maybe you need to think about that again, or close, something like that, to encourage the student, but also to give the student an immediate response as to how well they're understanding the material. That's just one example of something that Web 2.0 can do. Something else is it can track the mouse movements. Let's say that the student is taking their mouse and playing with it and rolls it over an image. The various parts of the image through an image map can pop up and say, hey, this is, and then describe that portion of the image. This is also an excellent tool for accessibility for vision impaired students. You can have an audio file that runs based on the response of where the mouse is, so that you can be more accessible to a wider variety of diversity in student abilities. Some of the challenges presented by this technology is, like we said, we've got to stay more in tune with what the students want. Another aspect, when we start talking about this online learning, we've crossed vast distances many times. Khan Academy, for instance, markets themselves as the academy, the teaching institution for the world. So it's not unusual for someone in Cambodia to be connecting with a class that's being proctored by someone in France. So there could conceivably be time frames. Maybe the student's working in the wee hours of the morning and they're thinking, oh wow, maybe the teacher can help me with this. The teacher, it's in the middle of their day, responds immediately, and so the student gets the feeling that the teacher is right there with them in those wee hours of the morning. So boundaries that should exist between teacher and student should be carefully maintained. There's a danger of lowering those boundaries. Carter in 2018 did a study that indicated that online relationships can be even more intimate, emotionally intimate, than face-to-face relationships can. So teachers need to be aware of those things. That's just an impact of technology, not necessarily with respect to assessments. But in that regard, assessments, current online and mobile assessment methods and their effectiveness. Certainly, like we said with Web 2.0, our traditional methods of assessment, multiple choice, true, false, short answer, etc., are still valid in this new world, and they can give immediate and reflective feedback to the student to help the student stay on track, as well as giving feedback to the teacher so that they can say, oh, hey, you know, maybe I could teach this particular segment just a little bit more effectively, or alter a few aspects of it. One of the really exciting technologies that I discovered while researching for this paper is that of intelligent tutoring systems. It's a combination of artificial intelligence with various web tools and programs built into a learning management system that allows the system itself to monitor what the students are doing prior to reporting to an instructor. It analyzes what activities the student prefers to work on first, perhaps identifying learning style preferences. It monitors the questions that the students knew immediately, those they struggled with, and then those questions that they just absolutely had no clue concerning. And it gathers that information. The artificial intelligence aspect of this intelligent tutoring system can suggest resources from the database that's been connected to various challenges as further or additional information for the student, and thereby pushing more relevant training for that student so that that student's learning experience is actually customized to that student. This technology is growing, and the research paper that I found was written in 2013. At that time, at that current state of their system, Conati and Cardin were able to demonstrate that their system was very, very good at clustering students into intelligent groups to provide the teacher with greater tools for differentiation within the classroom. And it also did well in identifying learning levels and the students who are ready to advance or who need some extra help. So it's a very exciting environment, and I think we as teachers again are reminded that the tools are really awesome, but we've got to use these tools in an intelligent way. Assessments are great as long as the assessment questions themselves are written properly to reflect what's being taught, and then the speed and accuracy of these learning platforms and systems to give us that feedback and to let us manipulate that data in so many different ways to try to understand what's powering our students' learning abilities and challenges is an incredible time. It just makes it an incredible time to be an instructor. I've really enjoyed this week's investigations, and I hope you have too. Y'all have a good week and a good weekend. Bye-bye.